What's up, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family? It's your boy PSGINT here, and today we're going to break down and discuss Paris Saint-Germain's performance yesterday 1-1 against Stade De Reims. We're going to look at why it didn't go as it did and who we really should critique. Is it the players? Is it the manager? I believe both, and in this video I'm going to explain why exactly we need to blame both and not choose one scapegoat. There are a lot of factors that led to this performance and this result, and Paris Saint-Germain dropping points. First of all, is the starting lineup. Of course, we all know about Juan Bernat, that he's stinky, that he's not Paris Saint-Germain quality. He's not even Ligue1 quality. He should not be playing at a top-tier club like Paris Saint-Germain. It's sad that Nuno Mendes is still out this time for precaution reasons, but we need to get a better left back. We need to get someone that can actually play that position, because Bernat can't play that position. He can't do anything. But yeah, I mean, we're used to it. It's Juan Bernat. I definitely believe that Danilo Pereira has been our best centre-back this season, and him not starting this game just shows that I don't know what's the issue. Marquinhos, he has the captain tax. Ramos has the alpha tax, and we need to get around that, because we can't be playing players on their name or their past performances. Right now, Danilo should be the starting centre-back, and then Ramos or Marquinhos, one of them next to him. Then we go into the midfield. Fabian Ruiz, he can't play in a pivot. It's just that simple. He's too nonchalant with the ball. He's too big. He's too slow. He takes too many touches. We need nimble, agile players right there in the midfield, like Vitinha, like Verratti, like Renato, like Warren, Zaire, Emery. So Ruiz should never be playing in that position. And if we want to continue with this 4-2-2-2-2, which I enjoy myself, I would not like to have Ruiz there. I would like to have Ruiz on that right midfielder spot, where Carlos Soler is the right cam spot. And what I would have started the game would have been Vitinha next to Renato Sanchez, and then Fabian Ruiz on that right side. That would have been better, or even starting Marco Verratti and putting Renato as the right midfielder. But Soler should definitely not play for Paris Saint-Germain, especially with his recent performances. Listen, off the bench, I have no problems. I don't care what player does the last 20 minutes. But he cannot start games. He was invincible. Both him and Bernat, it was like we played with 9 men this game. But both of them should never start for Paris Saint-Germain again. As I said, Bernat, we're used to it, and there really isn't any other option. But Fabian Ruiz as well should not be playing in that pivot. But that was the issues with the starting lineup. And here we need to go to Galtier, because he's the man that sets up the lineup. What happens during the game is on the players and a bit on the coach, but the lineup is totally on the coach, and Christophe Galtier really has to fix up here. He cannot be starting Carlos Soler every game. I know he feels that Carlos Soler is the most like a right midfielder to play in this formation, but you either switch formation or you play Renato or Fabian there. I mean, Renato played there under him at Lille in that right mid spot, and I really can't understand why he can't play there at Paris Saint-Germain. Then we take a look at Stade De Reims. This was their predicted lineup, a 4-3-3, the usual that they have been playing under their new manager. But they came prepared. They put up with a 4-5-1. They came here to defend. They came here for counterattacks with Balogun. And yeah, they made it really hard, especially in that first half. We really couldn't penetrate their midfield, because, as we all know, Paris Saint-Germain are at their strongest. Our two best players, Neymar Jr. and Lionel Messi, the number 10s, they like to operate in the central areas. And the Rennes manager knew that. So he switched formation to a formation that better suits defending against Lionel Messi and Neymar Jr. And that was a good tactical switch from the manager before the game. But again, it's not that special. It's not that special, because that's what every Ligue 1 team have done this season. They know that Paris Saint-Germain from the wings, especially now that Juan Bernat is missing, we really aren't that good from the wings anymore. This season, it's all about the central spaces, and teams know how to defend against this really well. This won't be an issue in the Champions League, because teams won't switch formation and play players they don't usually play because of us. But still, we need to find a way to penetrate through these low blocks, through these 6 players in the middle, because yeah, there isn't a solution yet. But this also shows that Stade De Reims came to the park to not concede a goal. That was their objective. They were like, listen, a goal we may get from the entire 90 minutes, but let's make sure to not concede a single goal. And their objective went really well. I mean, in the first half, we really couldn't do anything. We had a chance here in the first minute. Fabian Ruiz with a pass between the lines for the first time to Neymar Jr. Neymar Jr. lifts it up. Mbappe is there. No, Hakimi is there. Hakimi gives it to Messi. and Messi skies it. But that was it pretty much from the first half, because as you can see from the players of Stade De Reims, you can see they're everywhere, especially there in the middle. They came here to defend, and they did a really good job. They're unbeaten now in 14 games across all competitions. And Stade De Reims have always been a really great defensive side. We even couldn't score a goal against them away last season, in the beginning of this season. But we can clearly see here the first goal that opened up the game for Paris Saint-Germain, because as a Stade De Reims came here to defend, and their objective was not to concede, and then they hoped to score a goal. But as soon as Neymar got this chance, beautiful dribble past the goalkeeper and puts it into the empty net. After that, Stade De Reims were different. They wanted a goal, which I have to respect them for, of course, wanting to get a goal instead of just keeping it defensive. But that also made that Paris Saint-Germain got a lot of space in between the lines and behind their lines. And then the mistake happened, because Marco Verratti came on at halftime, which was a good substitution from Christophe Galtier, which changed the game a bit. Of course, Marco Verratti is the best midfielder in the world. Of course, he's going to change every possible game. But Ito here goes so easily past Juan Bernat, and then Verratti recklessly goes into the challenge here. Of course, as I said, we have to accept this is Juan Bernat. He's just ass. He's just trash. And then Marco Verratti, no excuse here. But if I'm trying to see it from his perspective, he came into this game, he hasn't played football for a long time, and yeah, just recklessly goes into that challenge. Stupid red card. Even though that red card didn't really affect the game much, but if we had been playing with Marco Verratti, we'd have performed even better here in the second half. So he made a hard game, a tough game, even harder. But in the second half, Paris Saint-Germain really got a lot of great chances. But yeah, again, it's the clinicality. That's the issue. Fabian Ruiz and Kylian Mbappe, beautiful link up here. And you see where Fabian is playing right now. This is where the positions I want him to hold. The offensive positions, the 1-2s. I don't want him to be in a pivot. He's too big. He's too slow. I want him to run with the ball and put these kind of passes, because a beautiful 1-2 with Kylian Mbappe. Place it. And Mbappe here, you have to finish. Kylian Mbappe, there's absolutely no excuse. You're supposed to be the best or second or third or fourth or fifth best player in the world, and you can't finish off this chance. Embarrassing. And then corner kick, Sergio Ramos gets the header on the bar. Yeah, again, very unlucky here from Paris Saint-Germain. And then for some reason, we couldn't just tap the ball into the net. Beautiful transition here. Fabian Ruiz, Danilo Pereira. This is the spaces I'm talking about with Fabian Ruiz. You see, he's not playing in the pivot. Right now, it's Danilo Pereira playing alone in that pivot. Neymar, of course, dropping deep as well there. But Fabian Ruiz, I want him in these kind of spaces, linking up with our attackers and fullbacks. I don't want him to be in the pivot. I want him to play that right mid position. There's a beautiful transition here. Achraf Hakimi gets a beautiful 1-2 with Lionel Andres Messi. Goes into space, scores the golazo. I think, yes, finally, Paris Saint-Germain finally killed off the game. But the goal was ruled offside. And lastly here, Kylian Mbappe shoots it. It was a great shot. Goalkeeper saves it. Neymar absolutely humbles this defender. Gives it to Lionel Messi in tons of space. And Messi just couldn't finish the chance. Yeah, again, the clinicality problem. We could have killed the game off. Even with 10 men, we couldn't kill the game off here. And yeah, it was embarrassing. And then a lose of focus in the last second of the game. How can you do this? How can you do this in the last minute of the game? This is completely embarrassing how you can do this. Warren Zaire Emre and Renato Sanchez, both of them, I blame them for this goal, and maybe even a small part on Danilo, but mostly it goes on them, because we were trying to time waste the last 3 minutes, and then you do something like this. Beautiful pass there. Balogun finishes it off into the empty net. 1-1, the game ends. We could have gotten the 3 points. We could have ended with a victory in Ligue1 Uber Eats. But yeah, it just wasn't our day. It wasn't our day, and very unlucky there in the last minute. But first of all, I have to talk about Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi, because this was a horrendous performance from both of them. Both of them didn't do anything, and the chances they got, they lost the ball. Mbappe completed 1 out of 6 dribbles. Lionel Messi missed big chance after big chance, and it's completely embarrassing. Especially for Kylian Mbappe. I mean, at least Lionel Messi has some sort of excuses, rustiness. I don't know why Galtier did not play him in the Coupe de France game. That was a big mistake from Christophe Galtier, because Messi, he becomes rusty very quickly with his age, and he needs that game rhythm and game form. And yesterday, we clearly saw that Messi did not have the game form. And yeah, next game, both of them have to perform. Juan Bernat, as I've said, we need Nuno Mendes and we need a better backup for Nuno Mendes. On the right back spot, when Hakimi is gone, we have Mukiele. That suits us. We even have Pembele, who recently came back from injury. But on the left side, listen, Galtier, I would even play Bicciabo out of position because I'm done with this Bernat stuff. I can't be watching him play for Paris Saint-Germain. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, hopefully, Nuno Mendes comes back and is fit to play every single game remaining of the season because I can't be bothered watching Juan Bernat. But Neymar Jr., what a complete performance from him. Played as a midfielder and an attacker in this game. Got the goal that we needed. And yeah, he has been clinical this season. Very clinical compared especially to the last 2 seasons before this season. But other than that, he was just linking up play, winning the ball back, dribbling, opening up space, 1-2s. He was everywhere. And this is exactly the Neymar Jr. I love to see. It's a different Neymar from the past seasons, especially if you compare it to the first season he was here at Paris Saint-Germain. He's working very, 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 very hard. And yeah, what a masterclass from Neymar Jr. in this left mid spot, left cam spot in this 4-2-2 formation. And then Marco Verratti, we have to discuss him because there's no excuse. You can't come in and make that sort of tackle. I know Ito went past Juan Bernat, but really, did you have to make that tackle? And Marco Verratti now will be missing 2 to 3 games depending on what Ligue1 say. Maybe he will play the Marseille game, or maybe he will be fit to play the last Monaco game right before we play Bayern München. I'm not scared of Verratti's fitness because I know that Verratti can miss 1 year out of football, come back and have a masterclass as he did against City 2 seasons ago. But Marco Verratti has to think about himself because this hasn't just affected him, his playing style, and him playing. It's also affected the team with how important Marco Verratti is to Paris Saint-Germain. Then, yeah, again, I'm coming to Christophe Galtier, the 2 substitutions. I loved Verratti coming on at halftime because we clearly saw that we needed him. There was a void for him. But I don't know why Vitinha was subbed off. I think if you remove one of the pivots, it had to be Fabian Ruiz. He was underperforming, and Vitinha was performing better than him. Or the best thing to do was subbing out Soler, putting in Verratti, Vitinha pivot, and Fabian Ruiz going on that right side. And then it's a second substitution, 83rd minute of the game. It's still 1-0. We haven't killed the game off. Reims are full of hopes to get something out of this game. And you sub out Neymar Jr., our best player. And not just attacking-wise, even defensively. The runs he was making, the covers, everything. And you put in an unexperienced Warren Zaire-Emery. I love my boy Warren Zaire-Emery. But we always talk about Galtier always putting in youngsters when it's 3-0, when it's comfortable. Here he went against it. I like it, but if you want to put in Warren, take out one of the other 2 players. I know Neymar had been running much more than Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe this game and was much more tired than them. But still, this was a bit of a question mark on his substitutions. This is what Neymar had to say about the game. We thought we had done the hardest part, but we took a goal at the very end. My ankle and the physique, it's fine. Things are going well. I feel good physically. And this is great to hear to Neymar Jr. coming back with a great performance here after some iffy performances after the World Cup. And this is what Danilo Pereira had to say. It's a game where we missed a lot of things. We can't concede a goal like that when we had the ball in midfield. We have to be in a different state of mind. We have to work harder, suffer together, and be together. If we don't, it will be very difficult. And I like those 2 words there, suffer together and be together. Of course, I'm seeing more togetherness, but it's still far away from what I really want to see. And Danilo Pereira speaking really well on that issue. Christophe Galtier after the game, our first half was soporific. No rhythm, no intensity. We suffered. Overall, obviously, we can't be satisfied with what we did tonight. We must quickly resume the path of victories and be much more together. Galtier here talking about, especially with the first half, there was no rhythm. And that was the reason he brought on Marco Verratti. And about Marco Verratti, we'll continue to work, but we will also talk. Too many players are not up to par. There will be decisions to be made to find a much, much stronger team that looks like a high-level team. And Galtier here completely insulting the players, but still taking responsibility that he's the man. He has a lot of responsibility on the team performances, but he's also talking about players. Too many players are not up to par, and I completely agree with Christophe Galtier. And talking about Marco Verratti, Marco could not start the game because of his muscle injury precaution. When I saw the content of the first half, I had to bring him on. And actually, that was a good tactical substitution there from Christophe Galtier. if we want to critique the bad stuff he does, we still need to compliment the good stuff he did. Even though it's a really obvious thing to do, we still need to compliment him. But we can definitely agree with Christophe Galtier. Taking goal in the 95th minute with the number of experienced players we have, it's very surprising compared to the experience that was on the pitch at that time. And Christophe Galtier, yeah, again, slandering his players because they should be doing better. And I'm completely with Christophe Galtier because, yes, Galtier, the lineup, the substitutions, everything you can put questions and critique him for. But how the players performed in this game, some individual players, you can't put that on the manager. You have to put that on the players. And I'm really happy that Christophe Galtier is putting it on the players. And listen, talking about this game, listen, this is not the end of the world. But Paris Saint-Germain should definitely not be dropping points to Stade De Reims at home and should be performing much better, should be getting a much better result and 3 points. Christophe Galtier, I critiqued him for what he did in this game, the lineup, the substitutions. He needs to start fixing that. He needs to stop playing Soler. We need to get Nuno Mendes back in the game. We can't be playing with Juan Bernat. I would rather, as I said, play Bichao out of position. At least he gets some experience and would try better than Juan Bernat in that position. But apart from that, the players, they need to improve. Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Carlos Soler, Juan Bernat, Fabian Ruiz. There are a lot of question marks on a lot of different players. Marquinhos as well. Should the captain armband go away from him? But listen, we have Montpellier in 2 days. Let's hope for Paris Saint-Germain perform well in that game. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Let me know in the comments down below if I missed anything big that I needed to talk about this game. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Paris Saint-Germain YouTube channel for more daily content as usual. Allez, bye.